masters of the bow, 1,000 such men who do not flee should surround me on all sides. And if women were to come here, still more numerous than this, they would never make me tremble, for I stand firmly in the Dhamma. I have heard this as a witness from the Buddha, kinsman of the sun. The path leading to Nibbana, that is where my mind delights. If while I am dwelling thus, you approach me, evil one, I will act in such a way, O death, that you won't even see my path. It's the end of the sutta. So here, this Venerable Vangisa, when a lot of beautiful women came, he had all these sensual thoughts. And then he realized nobody can help him except himself. So he made a great effort to dispel those sensual thoughts. In the Majjhima Nikaya, there are some suttas that deal with this, how to dispel these asavas, these uncontrolled mental outflows. If you go into the sutta, there are few examples given. Like one is to think of something else, and another one is to think of the unwholesomeness of those sensual thoughts, the bad effects of those sensual thoughts, and various other ways. So because he understood the Dhamma, that's why understanding the Dhamma is very important. If we don't understand the Dhamma, then we don't have right view, and if we don't have right view, we are influenced by all this. But if we have right view, then because our foundation is based on right view, then we have attained this. We have entered the stream. Once you have entered the stream, you're quite steady in spite of all these obstacles. 8.2. On one occasion, the Venerable Vangisa was dwelling at Alavi, at the Agalava shrine, together with his preceptor, the Venerable Nigroda Kappa. Now on that occasion, when the Venerable Nigroda Kappa returned from his alms round, after his meal he would enter the dwelling and would come out either in the evening or on the following day. I stop here for a moment. You see, this Venerable Vangisa's preceptor, Venerable Nigroda Kappa, was an Arahant, so he constantly abides in meditation. So he goes out in the morning on his alms round. Then he comes back, have his meal, either alone or with the other monks. Then he will enter his kuti, his dwelling, and he will meditate the whole day. And he'll only come out either in the evening if there's a Dhamma discussion, or the next day. Now on that occasion, dissatisfaction had arisen in the Venerable Vangisa. Lust had infested his mind. Then it occurred to the Venerable Vangisa, it is a loss for me indeed. It is no gain for me. It is a mishap for me indeed. It is not well gained by me that dissatisfaction has arisen in me, that lust has infested my mind. How could anyone else dispel my dissatisfaction and arouse delight? Let me dispel my own dissatisfaction and arouse delight by myself. Then the Venerable Vangisa, having dispelled his own dissatisfaction and aroused delight by himself, on that occasion recited these verses. Having abandoned discontent and delight and household thoughts entirely, one should not nurture lust towards anything. The lustless one, without delight, he is indeed a bhikkhu, a monk. Whatever exists here on earth and in space, comprised by form, included in the world, everything impermanent decays. The sages fair, having pierced this truth, people are tied to their acquisitions, to their attachments, to what is seen, heard, sensed, and felt. Dispel desire for this, be unstirred. They call him a sage who clings to nothing here. Then those caught in the 60, led by their own thoughts, there are many such among the people who have settled on wrong doctrine, who would not join their faction anywhere, nor utter corrupt speech. He is a bhikkhu, proficient, long trained in concentration, honest, discreet, without longing, the sage has attained the peaceful state, depending on which he bides his time, fully quenched within himself. So here his inspired verses are quite interesting. This Venerable Vangisa on that occasion should have been quite young, to be constantly troubled by lustful thoughts. 8.4. On one occasion, the Venerable Ananda was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. Then in the morning, the Venerable Ananda, dressed and taking bowl and robe, entered Savatthi for alms with the Venerable Vangisa as his companion. Now on that occasion, dissatisfaction had arisen in the Venerable Vangisa. Lust had infested his mind. Then the Venerable Vangisa addressed the Venerable Ananda in verse. I am burning with sensual lust. My mind is engulfed by fire. Please tell me how to extinguish it out of compassion, O Gotama. And Venerable Ananda said, it is through an inversion of perception that your mind is engulfed by fire. Turn away from the sign of beauty, provocative of sensual lust. See formations as alien, as suffering, not as self. Extinguish the great fire of lust. Don't burn up again and again. Develop the mind on foulness, one-pointed, well-concentrated. Apply your mindfulness to the body. Be engrossed in revulsion. Develop meditation on the signless and discard the tendency to conceit. Then, by breaking through conceit, you will be one who fares at peace. This Venerable Ananda may have the same, probably have the same preceptor as this Venerable Vangisa. That means the Venerable Nigrodha Kappa, I think, was the preceptor of both of these monks. That's why they were living together. So Venerable Ananda, being more senior, was walking in front. So this young monk was asking Venerable Ananda to help him how to dispel his sensual lust. So Venerable Ananda told him it's just a matter of perception. If you see something as beautiful, then lust arises. But you perceive something as unattractive, then there is no lust will arise. Repulsion instead will arise. So the Venerable Ananda also asked him to keep his mind one-pointed, well concentrated. Actually, this sensual lust is a problem with a lot of people on the spiritual path. That's why the Buddha taught the first type of meditation was the 32 parts of the body, what the Chinese call Puching Quan, meditation on the unattractiveness on the body, to recite the body parts one by one and to contemplate head, hair, body, hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinew, bone, marrow, kidney, heart, liver, midriff, spleen, lung, bowel, entrail, gorge, dung, brain, bowel, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tear, grease, spittle, snot, all of the joint, urine. So if you recite these 32 parts slowly, then you can contemplate them one by one, so that you can see a human being as made up of all these parts, which are not so attractive after all. And if you want to practice concentration of mind, then you recite them fast. So this type of chanting is very useful. So, for example, when you lie down and you don't want to fall asleep, you keep chanting. The next sutta is 8.7. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in the eastern part, in the mansion of Nikara's mother, together with a great sangha of monks, with 500 monks, all of them arahants. On that occasion, the Uposatha day of the 15th, the Blessed One was sitting in the open, surrounded by the Bhikkhu Sangha, in order to hold the Pavarana. Let's stop here for a moment. The Uposatha day is the day when the monks recite the precepts. in the lunar calendar is the 15th day of the lunar calendar, and also the 30th day of the lunar calendar, the lunar month. Or if there's no 30 days, then it's 29 days. But this is if we take the lunar calendar in terms of months. Like in India, they take it as a fortnight, every fortnight. Then it's the 15th is the 15th. Then the 30th is considered to be the 15th day of the fortnight. Use the 29th day, then it's the 14th day of the fortnight. So this pavarana is an invitation, and this is only done once a year. After the rains retreat, in India they have 3 seasons. The rainy season, followed by the winter season, and which is followed by the summer season, and 3 seasons. Each season has 4 months. And during the rain season, it is a tradition in India for ascetics, monks, to stay in one place, to have a retreat in one place, not to travel. And normally in the Buddhist tradition, for the first 3 months, the monks will stay in a place, in one place. It's called the Vasa retreat, the rains retreat, just like what we are doing now. And then the last month, the 4th month of the rains, is the time when the monks look for ropes. For ropes, and they look for ropes cloth, look for the cloth to make a rope. So this pavarana is held on the after the 3 months rains retreat. After the 3 months rains retreat, then on this rains retreat begins the day after the full moon day in July. So it lasts up to the full moon day of October. So on the full moon day of October, they have this pavarana. Instead of reciting the precepts, they recite the pavarana, which is the invitation. And that means each monk will invite the other monks to criticize him if he has done anything wrong, or they suspect him to have done anything wrong during the 3 months. It's a way of, it's a practice of humility, and also to have goodwill among each other. Then, having surveyed the silent bhikkhu sangha, the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus or the monks thus: "Come now, monks, let me invite you. Is there any deed of mine, either bodily or verbal, which you would censure, you would criticize?" When this was said, the Venerable Sariputta rose from his seat, arranged his upper robe over one shoulder, and raising his joined hands in reverential salutation towards the Blessed One, said to him, "Venerable Sir, there is no deed of the Blessed One, either bodily or verbal, that we censure. For, Venerable Sir, the Blessed One is the originator of the path unarisen before, the producer of the path unproduced before, the declarer of the path undeclared before. He is the knower of the path, the discoverer of the path, the one skilled in the path, and his disciples now dwell following that path and become possessed of it afterwards. And I, Venerable Sir, invite the Blessed One. Is there any deed of mine, either bodily or verbal, which the Blessed One would censure?" I'll stop here for a moment. So here you see, this is how they do the pavarana, how they invite. They invite each other. Is there anything that I have done wrong, which should be criticized? So when the Buddha invited, then Venerable Sariputta, being the senior most disciple, the most respected disciple, the right-hand disciple of the Buddha, then he represented the Sangha by saying there is nothing in the Blessed One, in the Buddha, that is worthy of censure or criticism.